Okay, so this is where you're going to spend most of your time inside the repair order. There's a lot of information inside this repair order or estimate, or however you want to phrase it in your organization. We're going to start at the top left of the screen. We'll just go through a couple of these different drop downs and buttons and take a look at what they do. So this one here is the status button, which shows also on your WIP screen or work in progress screen, which is the main screen of the actual shop management system. These are all modifiable, less the ones in gray at the very bottom where it says canceled, checked in, complete, or invoiced. Those are, and voided. Those are necessary to be there, so you can't modify or change them. Okay, all these ones in the very top are modifiable. There's a couple that are stock, like on hold, parts ordered, rescheduled, scheduled, waiting on customer, I believe delivered, extra care, and in progress are all stock ones. Anything else we've added to this, so back ordered parts, 800 radiator parts ordered, Napa parts ordered, and you can modify or add, I believe, as many as you want. The only one that I know of that changes color is the on hold one. If you look in the background, that peach salmon colored one is on hold. So if you want somebody to pay attention to a ticket, I just say put on hold, click save, it turns to that color, so it's visible, more visible on the screen. Next down, we've got checked in, so we could actually schedule this as an estimate or a quote, save it to the schedule, and then when the customer actually shows up, I can click on the checked in icon, and it changes to checked in and the time they got checked in. If you're watching time in the shop, then that checked in time might be 2 days ago while you're waiting for parts, but we haven't started the job yet, so I'm not going to click the started button until the mechanic starts on the... You can see who it was checked in by and who it was started by, so the service manager will probably be the one that started, or the mechanic itself if you guys allow mechanics into repair orders. Create sub-estimate we'll go over later, but that's what it does. It opens up the sub-estimate field with lots of other options and drop downs and cool stuff in here. Then we've got your promise time. This is probably the least used feature that I'm aware of. I mean, it seems like a lot of people know it's there, but they don't necessarily know what it's for. I can change the date, I can change the time, both AM, PM. I can even change the year and the month. I mean, basically, what did you promise the customer would be done? This also prints on both the repair order itself or work order, as well as the estimate copy. So you could highlight it there and it's visible there. And when you save it, it also shows, and we'll get into the WIP screen later on, it shows on your WIP screen so that way you can see when the ticket was created versus when it was checked in versus when the work was started versus what's being promised and when it's promised. So another nice feature of the system. Inspection completed, in this drop down here, which we'll go over in a minute, but in this drop down you can click on the inspection button and actually print an inspection that's preloaded in the system. I don't know if it's loaded in this one, so hopefully, yeah, the inspection sheet's missing. So anyway, that's where it comes. And then as soon as you click that, it would check box your inspection completed. Owner's manual maintenance automatically checks if you click any of these buttons. Reason for your visit. These are also, I believe, modifiable. This question, save old, there's a setting where you can force it to ask the question, so they actually have to ask the customer, do you want to save your old parts? Some states that's required, and it's just a yes or no. It's the only two answers you can have. It will error out if you don't have it. Error meaning it makes you change it. Mileage outfield, that's self-explanatory. Other options, we've got details. This screen shows all the details of the ticket, including the profit per line item. Text, this is where you assign your technicians to different jobs or to the entire ticket. RO notes, these are notes that follow the repair order itself. I can leave like test note, for example, if I can spell test note in here. I can print those notes for whatever reason if I needed to, and then click save. And then anybody who logs into this ticket will see that note, and it puts who, and I'm sales in this video, it says who left the note, and the little trash can on the far right hand side where it's got the time, I'm the only one that can delete that note. So if somebody else signs in that repair order, they don't have access to delete my notes. Kind of a nice feature, because then if I'm putting something important in there that I want to follow this repair order, missing hubcap, whatever it may be, it doesn't, it can't be deleted and modified by anybody else, only me. Detailed note. So detailed note in that menu, whatever line is currently selected, you will click the detailed note option and it loads this screen here, and you put your note in there, and there's a note there because it turns that kind of more of a lighter pink or lighter salmon color. You can also just click on the line and then right click and it opens the same thing. A little easier in my opinion to get to. Label, this will print whatever labels are defined in the system. So if I'm doing an alignment, oil change, tire change, whatever it may be, I can print those from here. You can also set it that way in the package field. You can set it so that way the labels will print automatically when you click the Save as Estimate button in the top right corner. It'll only print the one time. It marks it as printed after that, so you wouldn't have to worry about printing multiple. Inspection, we went over. Notify, this is a great option. I love this thing. So I can just go into here, put in a phone number or an email, or select both, and it will, when I push the complete button, which you can't see because I haven't saved this yet, when you click the completed button, it'll send out a text message and or an email notifying the customer that the vehicle has been completed. So, but you have to go in here and check the box for that to be functional and to work properly. Customer return screen. There's nothing in this system, so you'd have to click that button, and you're able to take and see what's eligible that's been previously purchased by this customer, and you'll be able to add that to the ticket by just double clicking and then posting it, and it'll automatically put it on here as to the brand, the part number, description, quantity, the cost, or excuse me, the retail price, which cost will be behind that as well, and the original salesperson who sold it. It will also populate automatically in that right hand side there. This is everything from the return file. So if I had a set of tires, for example, that I was going to sell to another customer, they canceled. They're in my return file, waiting to return. I can click here, select those tires, and add them to the repair order. So that way, I don't have to return the tires. I can sell them through the system without doing a bunch more paperwork. ICDB is your history that's uploaded to the FTP server. So there's a database that all the repair information is loaded. It's a very soft search, so it's difficult to look through. However, you could get a customer's invoice with the basic information to warranty a tire if you were able to go through that. It's easier to go to grab the one out of the glove box or call the store, in my opinion, instead of using this button, but it does work. Another thing is deposits. If I click on the deposits, and we require a login for this, depends on your security settings, this will automatically select the correct customer number for the ticket that I'm currently on. So then I take the deposit for the correct customer rather than having to make adjustments later on, and the customer's like, well, I left a deposit. They probably did, it's just under the wrong number. I can also, if I'm in a ticket trying to take and I need to take a deposit for somebody else, I can go in here and actually find another customer and take a deposit for that customer. We're gonna actually go explore one other option here. This is also a setting that can be locked down so they can't change information. I want to correct the spelling of my name. So this is where you would do this, is in that menu there. You click Edit Customer, and then you have all the ability to edit the information in these boxes. This is also where if I had a phone number in here, I'd be able to select what their primary phone number is, and that's the one that would print on all the orders. So if they had multiple numbers, but for example, let's say this there's my number and then my wife's number is an alternate phone, then I would just select whichever one they were calling for the day, and then it would populate that one on the RO or on that main portion of the screen. It should populate once I save it in the top right there where it says phone. And there's some other stuff in here too, discount codes. This tell you what discounts you can use. This is the reason for the visit. I mean, I was maybe referred or a repeat customer, whatever. Customer type. A lot of this stuff I wouldn't teach a lot of people how to use, but it's there. I can validate the address. That address is obviously not a real address. Opt-out marketing, if something wants to be removed from the digital marketing through the POS, through Demandforce, this is where you do that to start, but there may be other sources that is drawing this data. So this is just the first, or this is only one step into doing that. And then obviously the save button. All right, so we've gone over a lot of this stuff in the menus on the left-hand side, and we've edited the customer, and this is how you can get quickly. If there's already a note on the repair order, you can click the little notebook there. Specs. It does take a minute to load this. Okay, but this is a lot of data here. Some of the newer vehicles may not have as much as we'd like to see, but there is quite a bit. There's your fluid capacities for your engine oil. It's a reference only. It says use the owner's manual. Type of oil, viscosity, the type of oil itself. Maintenance grid is another way to look at maintenance. Now I'll have to go out and show another vehicle because this particular vehicle doesn't have the recommended maintenance. Engine, if you have the wrong engine size, you go back in here and change the engine size here. TPMS is a feature enhancement button, but if it does have TPMS and the catalog knows what system it has, it'll show up in this button here. This is if there's warning lights on incoming. This is if there's warning lights coming into the shop and outgoing, or unchecked if it's off when it leaves. Another button that's not used often enough is tire pressure torque. This is a horrible vehicle, it looks like, because it just doesn't have enough information. So let's go ahead and change the vehicle. Let's see what we have under an older Toyota here. And just like that, we changed the vehicle. So tire pressure, torque, it does have the information here. So you get tire size, your inflation, your rim width, your bolt circle, different options for the vehicles. If I select the tire size that's correct for that model and click OK, it'll automatically populate your, I have to change it because I already saved something that was not correct. It'll populate it, it will turn everything green. So a nice feature, and that does print also on the estimate copy as well as the work order copy for the technicians. I think that's it for this screen here. I mean, if the VIN number wasn't populated and I had a license plate number, I'm just looking at vehicles. I click the VIN number, it's going to go out and look at Carfax for the correct vehicle information. Customer tab, if I need to change their pricing structure, we have it password protected. It's a setting in your admin file or your security file, and then I would just have to select whatever pricing I have for discounts for that company. Bill to would be, example, if it was an ARI vehicle. It's not the same. Looks like there's not any bill to customers in here, but anyway, and then the PO field, I can change my phone number I want to show. Edit customer looked at. History, there's not going to be any because I don't have any, but there's two history buttons. One's for the vehicle, which is the history button here, and then one's for the customer, which is the history button here. So this will show every purchase I've had, no matter which vehicle it's for. This will show every purchase I've had just for this vehicle. It's tied to the license plate. This is tied to the customer number. The customer number is the top left there, license plate up, so I don't have one. Subtotal screen, a lot of data here, but it's pretty simple, straightforward. Parts, labor, if there's any cores, it'd show there. Waste disposal fees, subtotal, federal excise tax for tires, some have FET. Any discounts I've given, shop supplies, if available, check your local laws, sales tax, and then the ticket total. And then if you look at the buttons here, very self-explanatory. They are locked down for every one of the buttons here. Normal supplies, or zero them. Normal sales tax, or zero it. I'd highly recommend making sure that you follow the. I highly recommend you have this locked down. Vehicle info. Did we not? No, I have no history on this, so it's not bringing the last oil change or date or anything like that. But it should show on most vehicles the front and rear tire size and the TMS type. And that's pretty much all the buttons inside of a repair order. Okay. Quick, this is how I add part numbers to a ticket. So in this case, I'm going to use miscellaneous service labor. That description is modifiable. If I discount the price, this kind of screen comes up. You have to verify that. Packages, this is what's set up in home office, so that way I can quickly add in the different things without having to type multiple items from it. Or if there's, for example, an oil change package, I'm not having to enter every single note. Tires, if I'm looking this up, we'll go over this screen more in depth in another video, but this is the tire screen. Catalog, this we'll have to go in more in depth in another video here as well. But this gives you all your parts and labors, that anything that's in Activent, and there's also, if you have it turned on, an interchange, parts interchange. So if I did not end up having that 27047 oil filter, I would be able to type it in here, and looks like it's not turned on. Go in there and interchange it to another part. Parts, this is anything that's in my inventory file that I've added to that inventory file. I can go through and look at it by brand. I can sort by part number. I can search by description, or if you use stock wheels, you can search by bolt pattern. In this screen, you can also look up different tire sizes by the size itself rather than the part number. I'd still recommend using the tire lookup screen for that. But, services, this is all your comments, discounts, fee, labor, road hazard, and trade-in. All the line codes for service items. OP screen is anything I'm outside purchasing. This is where I'm going to either order my parts from, receive my parts from, or order and receive. Then you've got edit, received, which can only be done the same day as the ticket, can't be done the next day. Cancel it or close. OPE order, this is where we order either from our primary vendor or secondary vendor, which you can see that the vendor changes when I click those. This is where I would click availability for parts. I don't think this is turned on. It is turned on. Availability for parts, I'd click order at that point, or I can click pickup and then click order, which we're not going to do because we don't want to send a filter to one of our stores. And then reprint if I'm reprinting it, or delete if I wanted to. Let's say delete this off the ticket. Pretty self-explanatory. And that's the basics of the repair order screen. In our store, you can see at the top left-hand corner here, we have direct hit. This is a third maintenance option that you can turn on or have turned on for you. So you've got the maintenance button here that goes out and looks at different maintenance. Okay, and you go severe or normal. I can check all, uncheck all. If I checked all here, and then I can add that to the repair order, but it goes through different packages, so you need to make sure that's all set up properly. Let's actually do one, and then it's added to the repair order, so it's straightforward. Maintenance grid. Let's pop this one up since we didn't do that earlier. Very similar to what you'd see in the owner's manual. You can't select things from here and add them to the repair order, but you can print that for a customer. You can change your mileage, all that kind of good stuff. And then we have direct hit or Identifix. Okay, lastly, we've got the direct hit button, which we have turned on here. It's Identifix, and it'll load into a window here, pull the vehicle information on over with the customer information. We're interested right now with the maintenance button here at the top. Click on maintenance and customer plan, because we're going to hand this to the customer. And on this particular vehicle with 155,000 miles on it, it looks like spark plugs is due at 150, transfer case fluid. I mean, there's a lot of information here with a nice readable format for the customer. We can do another video if you all want with some of the features of Identifix Direct Hit.